What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Jay's Journey to Nails. And today we're doing a comparison set. So last year, I did this Thanksgiving inspired set, and a year later, I decided to go ahead and try again and just document my progress. So right here, you see me starting off by applying base coat to my nails. Once I apply that, I do it twice actually, once on camera, and I cure it for 60 seconds. And then I take some alcohol and wipe them off to remove the sticky layer, and then I go ahead and apply my tips. You know what? I lied, y'all. I forgot to record this part, but I did add some cuticle oil to my nails, my natural nails first, before I applied the base coat. And now I'm just going to use my glue, my IBD Brush-On Resin, and glue on the nail tips. And I did get the stiletto shaped nail tips from Amazon, as well as the glue. Now, as you can see here, it can be a bit difficult sometimes for the nail tips to stick to your nail after you apply your base coat, because usually it needs a a rough surface to stick to. But you know, this was a pop off set, so I just popped them off right afterwards. So you just keep reapplying the glue in the tip, and eventually it'll stick, and you won't have any problems with it popping off after the acrylic is laid. So this is a set that I did last year. It was thick and lumpy. So let's see how much I progressed in a year. And you see me, I'm just cut the numbers off. The tips I wanted to keep that length, so I just cut the numbers off. And of course I'm starting with my pinky, and it was a marble ombre nail. So I'm just marbling with white, orange, that yellow, and then brown. And to marble, what you want to do is you want to use really wet beads, and then you just swirl it. It's really no right or wrong way to do it. Just get you a couple wet beads. You can dip it in a monomer and dip it in one color, and then dip it into the next color, which I don't usually do. I just get how I do my marble. I wet my brush, dip it in one color, drop the bead, wipe it off and repeat into the next color and place it where I want to. And then once I have all of the colors laid, I just swirl it around until, you know, I'm satisfied with how it looks. So now that I'm satisfied with how my pinky look and how that marble is looking, I go up in and on my ring finger, I do a brown ombre. So I'm just applying this bead closer to the free edge because of the length of the tip. So yeah, I just apply that and then work my way down. Nothing major. I just make sure that I don't apply it thick because I'm going to go in and encapsulate all of the nails. I encapsulate, when I'm using a colored acrylic, I go in and encapsulate all of them with clear acrylic, so I don't worry about having the acrylic too thick when I'm applying the colors. And you'll see what I'm talking about. Anytime I'm doing an ombre, as you can see here, as well as on my pinky, I make sure I put a bead directly where the nail tip meets the natural nail. That way it won't be too hard to blend. To me, it's easier to blend that way, and it won't be like a harsh line. And on to the next finger. This is a set full of ombre. Full of ombre. So I just did, I think it was this yellow, orange, and brown as well. So I just did this 3-tone ombre, applying the yellow at the tip, and then I went in with my orange and then my brown. Don't make it too thick. And then here you see me blending it back. That way it'll be a smooth transition. The colors, why can't I talk? The colors will transition smoothly and they won't be such harsh blending lines, is what I'm gonna call it. And you'll see me continue to wipe my brush off 1,000,001 times, because when you're using colored acrylic, you don't want any of the colors to get stuck together, especially when you're using multiple colors in one set. You don't want to get a color stuck in your brush. That'll be a high gunky mess, and it'll be sticky in your brush, and it'll mess up like your whole application process if you do not get all of the colored acrylic out of your brush. I'll say it's like similar to using glitter before you use your color. You know how glitter, it gets stuck everywhere or all up in your brush, all in your monomer. Yeah, you want to make sure you just wipe it all off before you use your next color, because if not, it'll be stuck in your brush. It'll make the brush sticky, and it'll ruin the shape of your brush, and application process will be a pain. So please just make sure you wipe your brush after using each color. Just clean that thing. And now I'm just marbling my index finger. This one isn't ombre. It is marble though. I love marble. And I'm just taking my Mia Secret white as well as the clear and just making it look cloudy. And then I'm going to add some foils in that thing. So it's going to be cute. Just keep watching. And now I'm adding the foils while the acrylic is a little damp. That way they'll stick. And I got these foils off of Amazon. They came in like a 3-pack little jar. One set is gold, one is copper, and one is silver. So if you're interested, I got them off of Amazon. And I'm sorry, but y'all gonna see me struggle with these falls. I want y'all to see the reality of trying to do some of these sets or some of these little fancy little things, because it could be a pain and it could be frustrating. So just bear with me, and I hope you're more patient than I am, because at that point I really just wanted to just stop. And eventually you'll see that you'll find more efficient way to do things. So like you see how I just used my brush and wet it a little bit and grabbed the falls, and it was just simple as that. If I would have did that the first time, I wouldn't have worried about that. But if I wouldn't have struggled, I wouldn't have even thought to apply my falls like this. So yeah, eventually you, like I said, you find more efficient ways to do things. And on my thumb, I'm just doing an ombre, a classic ombre, but with this yellow color. And I just want to point out that all the acrylics that I'm using are Mia Secret brand. And I got them off of Amazon, of course. And I just applied the bead towards the, more so towards the free edge than the back part of the nail, because once again this tip is a bit lengthy, so I just started further back, and then I'm going to come down and apply my second bead covering that smile line that you see. So like I said, I just want to make sure that the blend, when I go in with my cover color, that it's not such a harsh blend line, like you won't be able to see through it basically. Now I'm going in with my Mia Secret cover pink, I believe, and I'm just going to create that ombre illusion. And one thing I noticed about doing ombre is that you have to have the perfect consistency. Your bead to powder ratio, your liquid to powder ratio has to be perfect consistency for it to be successful. So it's something that I still struggle with over a year later, but as you can see, I make sure I keep practicing that way. Each time it gets more easy. So I think for me, when I do ombre, it's like the bead has to be okay. You start off with small beads if possible, and make sure it's I hate to even say it like that, but like this, but it has to be not too wet and not too dry. That's why I said, like, it has to be the perfect consistency. If you can, I'm pretty sure if you've been practicing, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, you don't want it runny, but you don't want it to dry as soon as you drop the bead. So I'm sorry. I hope I'm helping. I hope I'm making sense. If I'm not explaining it correctly, hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. And I know y'all see that big old hump. Like, my intentions were not to create a hump or any apex or whatever on my thumb, but for some reason when I do ombre on my thumbs, they come out so thick, which lengthens the filing process in the end. So please just make sure that you're very patient, and just make sure that you get your application as smooth as you possibly can. That way you won't spend too much time trying to file that bow down. And remember, the reason that I said I'm not trying to, my intentions weren't to try to create an apex or any thickness, is because I'm going in with my clear and encapsulating. And when I encapsulate it, that's when you want to make sure you have the right amount of thickness, and have the apex placed correctly, and all that good stuff. So here I just apply my clear acrylic, and I like me a secret clear acrylic. It doesn't take me a lot of beads to get the structure right, in my opinion. So you see me place that first bead towards where the natural nail meets the tip, towards the middle of the nail basically, and I just work it down. It pretty much just, if you lay the bead and hold your finger down, gravity is going to pull the acrylic down. That way, all you have to do is keep up with the sides and the tip. Like, just wipe the sides and make sure that the shape stays intact. And, yeah, the gravity going to do its thing. And you're not going to have to do too much work with this clear acrylic. So now on most of my fingers, I'm going in with my cuticle bead. And just remember that you want to have the perfect consistency for this bead, because you don't want it to run all over the skin. And also, you do not want it to dry and have a big hard lump right there that you'll have to file down. And it'll take a lot of time to file down. So just make sure that you dip it in a liquid, dip it in a powder, dry it off a little bit, apply the bead a little bit above the cuticle area, and then you just maneuver it into its place, push it down into its place around the cuticle area, and then you don't brush too hard or you're gonna take away from the structure. So you just pull the acrylic from the back forward. I'm not good at explaining stuff. I hope you can actually see what I'm talking about. And here I'm just filling in where there was a lump. So you do just want to make sure you look at the nail from every angle. That way you can just fill it in and the application will be as smooth as possible. And on the rest of the fingers, I believe I'm applying just a second bead of clear acrylic, because the only reason why I went ahead and did the cuticle bead on those two fingers is because they're the smallest fingers. So Like I said before, just use however many beads you think that you will need or whatever works for you. Because, you know, not everybody does the 1 bead method and not everybody does the 3 and 4 bead method. So just do what you're comfortable with or do what you think will provide the best results. So back to cuticle application, you want to dip in your liquid, dip in your powder, set it a little bit above the cuticle area, then maneuver it in slowly, carefully, don't get it on the skin, and then pull back. You see? I hope you got it that time because I know the first time it was kind of delayed. So I'm just going to repeat those steps for the next finger. Monomer powder, set it, maneuver it, and then pull back. And if you miss a spot in the maneuvering process, of course you can just go ahead and fill in as needed. Now here you can see, Lord, I'm just trying, but you can see my thumb is a little bit bulky. For some reason, my thumbs always come out bulky when I'm doing, like, when I'm having to encapsulate. It never fails. So I end up having to file my thumb a lot. So hopefully, the more sets I do, the better I get at it. And now to the best part, it's time to bring this set back to life. So I'm going in with my 80 grit hand file, and I'm just going to file those sides, file the free edge, and on top of the nail, just to get that good coffin shape back. And this part is going to be a bit lengthy, so please bear with me because I don't know, I just prefer to use a hand file. I don't even think I use my e-file on this set, which is usually the goal for me. Like, if I could get my application on point and if I can file most of the bulk down or all of it down with my hand file, then I'm not pulling out the electric file because I just don't feel like it sometimes. It is what it is. I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be transparent. So, and I just feel like it's when you take the extra step, or not even taking the extra step, but when you do, like, it's kind of like cooking food from scratch. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't go buy the canned greens. You go, you know, you plant them and you dig them up, you clean them, you do all of it. I feel like this, like with the hand file. Like, I feel like I'm doing a set from scratch. No, but for real though, like, using your e-file, it does cut down a lot of time. So if that's your goal, then that's your goal. Or if you want to use the e-file, use the e-file. I use it most of the time, 90% of the time. The only time I don't use it is when I'm doing these pop-off sets real quick so that I can have some content. But eventually I would like to have my application perfect to where I don't need to use an e-file even around the cuticle area. But we just gonna see how this set come out and go from there. I'm just gonna, you know, keep working hard. I just feel like it's good quality work. Like, when you work hard, you get, well, I don't even want to say that because it kind of sounds like I'm saying using an e-file is cheating, which is definitely not. So please don't take it in that way. All I'm saying is, if I could eliminate a step, I'm gonna do that. But it's just whatever you prefer to do. And you see here, like, you do work a little harder, and for me, I think it's more so rewarding as well, because I'm like, dang, I did all this by hand. I didn't have to use no freaking electric file. And personally, when you have the 80/80 grit hand file, baby, that file is gonna cut down some bulk in no time. So it may seem like a long time that you filing, but even if you do use your electronic file, the most you're gonna have to do is touch up the cuticle area. Maybe you mistakenly got some acrylic on the skin or something. The most you're gonna have to do is touch that up when you, like, if you file on top of the nail with the 80/80 grit hand file, because this file is gonna smooth it out. Period. It's gonna cut that bow down, as you can see on my thumb. So just feel me on this. Alright, so now that I filed my life away, now I'm just gonna add the Vishin Top Coat and then cure this set for 60 seconds. Are cured, and I'm just adding my cuticle oil, and then we gonna check it out. Alright, so now that I'm satisfied with how the nails looked, I'm not gonna even care. I forgot about adding the rhinestones. I went back and looked at the picture from last year that I did with the set, and I'm like, oh crap. I was just so caught up in how good this set looked a year later, like I'm soaking it all in, that I almost forgot the important part. Y'all know I can't do nothing without a little glitter or a little rhinestone or something. So here I'm just applying the rhinestones using my same IBD Brush-On Resin, and then those little tweezers that came with one of the many Amazon packages that I get. So yeah, I'm just applying the rhinestones. Now, because I forgot about the stones and went ahead and added my cuticle oil, it was a little slippery trying to add the stones or get them to set, but eventually they did stick, so yeah. Okay, so the important part is done, and this is the old picture. So this is from October 2020, and this is my progress, y'all. I'm so proud. I'm so glad I stuck it out for a year. So please continue to ride it out with me. I got more coming soon. TikTok, JJ2 Nails. Instagram, JJ Journey to Nails. I appreciate those that stay tuned in. See you next time. Bye.